Friends, as we age, our body gets wear and tear. And if you are at the gym, you know what I'm talking about. On today's show, we have a timely episode. We're going to do an update with Steve-O as he is 10 days post hip replacement surgery. He
Yeah.
made it to the studio. I
I'm
couldn't even
good.
believe it. I was like, is he going to make it? And you made it A-okay.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. I am 10 days now post surgery, and a hip replacement surgery. I mean, it's a big deal. You're literally getting a brand new ball and socket, and that's pretty intense. So yep. So my right hip is surgically repaired now. It feels really, really awesome. It feels better than ever. I mean, it's pretty incredible how when you get a new hip, the instant feeling of just like mobility through the joint, it slides, it glides. I mean, I feel like I feel like I've got like a cheat code going on in my hip.
Yeah, it's wild to me that it was just 10 days ago that you had the surgery.
Yeah.
You know, that's very different than if you get like a knee replacement or something where you might have months and months of rehab. Now, of course, you probably have tons of rehab, you're doing a ton, and you'll see full mobility and full functionality kind of come fully online. But right away, you felt just a tremendous improvement.
Yeah. So post-surgery, the first 24 hours was, well, just so that everybody understands, I'll just give you like the high level details of what a hip replacement surgery is, and then you can go Google it and you'll be like, oh, wow, that's incredible. But essentially what happens, the process is this. They dislocate your hip, and then they clean out the socket and basically just chip away at all the bone spurs and get it nice and smooth and prep it to install a new socket in there. And that simulates having cartilage and everything else, and is stable. And then they install that. Usually it's with an adhesive or a cement. And then in certain cases, they use a couple of screws or one screw, or I think up to 3 screws. I got 2 screws. And then once that goes in there, then they take a saw and they saw off your femoral head from your femur. So they cut your bone, your femur. They cut it off, and then they give you the old rotation and then expose the top of the bone. And then they essentially drill this new post that goes down your femur, and then it's installed there. And then your bone grows into that. It's crazy. Like your bone, like it literally just grows into that and it just becomes a part of your body.
And is that metal as well?
It is a metal. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a metal, but I'm not sure what the materials are that allow your bones to like literally, it's porous. So your bones grow into it.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of Wolverine there, a little bit of adamantium bones.
It's cool. Yeah. And then at the top of that rod, there's a new ball, and then they stick that ball into the socket. They run it through all these different ranges of motion, and then they move the muscles back into place. They don't really do it like a ton of like cutting muscles. I mean, my incision is like 5 inches long at most. And then they're able to just move everything out of the way. And then in the process of doing that, don't get me wrong, like it's really sore from that, but then they just put it back in place, suture you up, and then off you go. First 24 hours after all that, good, outside of like the nausea and just like the feeling like something just rocked me. But in terms of pain, it's not bad. There's a pain cocktail injected, so you're just sort of numb. But then 24 hours after that, it's really uncomfortable, and it's like that for about 3 or 4 days. Just not fun. And narcotic pain medication, so you're just like, and that comes with like just stomach issues, and you just feel not good.
Yeah, it's major surgery. I mean, it's gonna like getting hit by a truck still. Your body is like, whoa.
Yeah. But in terms of like I walked out of the clinic. Got in my car, Molly drove home, and you're walking that same night. I mean, throughout the night, you're getting up and you're scooting around.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So from a stability standpoint, you're instantly stable. You're certainly sore. But where I really feel sore now, and I'm like I'm on day 10, is just like from like the middle of my thigh all the way down to my ankle. Just, I feel swollen there. Whereas the joint itself, like every day, I'm walking significantly further. I'm on my feet for a significantly more amount of time. I feel instant relief in terms of like bending over. I'm able to do some very high squats to a support. You know, so I'm squatting down probably about 6 to 8 inches. and it feels amazing on the surgical leg. It feels terrible on the non-surgical leg because that one needs to be replaced as well. But it's just it feels instantly like energizing, life-giving. And I still got to get my second one done here in April, and then that'll hopefully go just as smooth as this one. But I'm on the mend, and it's I'm just excited to like be able to go work the floor again, and work out again without having to be like, I feel old and tired and that's grinding and that hurts. And I'm excited to get that vitality back.
Totally. It's interesting because, before you had surgery done, before you made that choice, we pursued and got involved with a ton of different really cool regenerative therapies and different protocols. And that was all beneficial in and of itself. But when we were looking at, well, what impact is it having on, the hip regeneration? It was kind of telling when you showed me the x-rays.
Yeah.
And we looked at them together, and basically there was nothing there to regenerate.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of one of those things where it's like, in hindsight, had you been dialed into these therapies and these options that you have, even stuff like BPC and the different stem cells and cell factors and exosomes and all this cool stuff, maybe could have had a different outcome.
Could have, yeah.
Maybe, right? But it's like here, when it gets to a certain spot, surgery really becomes, and replacement becomes the really the option.
Right. Industrious is just it's a fast growing fun thing, and there's been no time and no time in resources for me to even like stop and be like, I should probably go get my hips looked at. And so it started a couple of years ago where they just started to kind of be sore all the time. And I just thought it was like tendons or muscle, like tendonitis or muscles that are just like beaten up or whatever. This is just like me saying to everybody, if you're feeling like stuff around your joints, don't just be like, oh, it's just little tendonitis or whatever, and I'm going to keep working through it. Certainly, go in and get x-rays and make sure that the skeletal structure is just fine. Because if things are getting tight, like in my case, genetically, my family has very tight hip sockets. So if I would have just seen that a little earlier, I think that I could have gotten out in front of it. And I think that I could have, through just regenerative therapies, as well as good joint mobilizations and smart, like volume and intensity in terms of working out, I think that I probably could have saved these things. Now, at some point, probably in my 70s, they were probably going to go, right? Remember, everybody, I did competitive CrossFit for 10 years, 2 or 3 training sessions per day, nonstop, go, go, go. I was a competitive CrossFit athlete. So that is ultimately what wore them down, was just that, I was training like beyond training. I was doing training that was beyond what professional athletes do by a magnitude of probably like 100% more.
And probably without any of the, again, regenerative therapies or
Right.
the proactive self-care that a pro athlete would be exposed to or have in the mix.
Right. And I started doing competitive CrossFit in my late 20s, and I ran it all the way through my late 30s. But along the way, if I would have gone in and probably gotten an x-ray earlier on, and just, hey, let's just make sure that the joints are good, then I probably could have gotten out in front of it enough. And so, but that's life when you're just going and going and going, and there's no time to stop.
Totally. And I think most people fall into that category to some degree, where like everyone's super busy.
Right.
And it's so easy to skip the self-care routines.
Yeah.
Or to pop a multivitamin, or, take some omega-3 fish oil and be like, good, check, good enough, right?
Exactly.
It's like, and I think when we look at your self-care routines, and we look at how you can continue to do the things you love to do for as long as possible, as long as you want to do them, there are, I think, some baseline therapies, interventions, dietary lifestyle stuff that really should be in the mix for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's so effective.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. So before as part of my process leading up to the surgery and the decision to ultimately do the surgery, I was getting treatment from Dr. Angela, and I do think that those therapies were having a very positive effect throughout my body. And certainly now that I've done the surgery, my recovery is is faster than normal. Like, let's be clear. I think a lot of people are almost everybody's on their feet after a hip replacement surgery because you kind of have to be to prevent blood clotting. It's like forced, get on your feet and walk around. But in terms of me, I mean, like, I feel like, and we'll see what happens here, but I think I can go back and work the floor next week. I think I'm going to feel fine. I think I'm going to feel good enough to do that. And I think I'm going to be able to run warm-ups, not crazy stuff, you're not going to see me squatting below parallel to get you warm or any of that stuff, but I'll be able to move and I'll be able to work the floor. And that's going to be at about the 14 or 15 day mark. Now, I don't want to rush it and I'm going to be smart, but I do think that a lot of that fat, like the fast track that I'm on, it has to do with the vitamins that I got via IV and stuff, like all this stuff leading up to me going in for the surgery. I do feel like, and I'm fit, right? I'm fit. I'm 45 years old, but I work out. I did work out leading up to surgery, and my body is used to being broken down and building back up. And I think that, my healing on this is going to go pretty doggone quick. I mean, I'm already ready, as of today, I'm ready to call the surgeon and be like, surgical leg is better than the non-surgical leg. Let's get this thing scheduled. Let's not mess around for the other one, because I want the bionic hips in both.
Exactly. You want to be the fully bionic man. Yeah, not half
awesome.
bionic man. Well, I think that you're absolutely right. So, I mean, I think from an environment standpoint, you came into the surgery in a good place,
Yeah.
And that cannot overstate that. When we look at different therapies, or we look at peptides, or we look at exosomes or whatever, when the environment itself is super dysregulated, when we're carrying a ton of extra body weight and we might be, hormonally imbalanced, and we might have a ton of different issues going on, system-wide inflammation, all of that makes everything harder, makes recovery harder, makes the surgery harder, makes everything just worse. And so when you just have a baseline fitness, this is always where it's a really good argument for why you should have a great solid baseline. Why I mean, it's like, just go to Industrious 3-4 days a week.
Right.
Even if you don't care about abs, or you don't care about that, you're not training for aesthetic purposes,
Right.
you're in your 40s. Of course, maybe you want to look good, but you're not caring if you're on a magazine cover. Man, the argument for your health and longevity and your resiliency and ability to bounce back and recover from major surgeries or minor injuries, it's huge.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I feel like I can just get back in action very, very quickly. If I was out of shape, or if I had other issues that were going on, I would be concerned about a surgery this extensive. But I think it's validation. Like, as you are aging, you start reaching mid-30s, it's time to start putting as much muscle mass on your body as you can while you can, and then hold on to that. Keep it. It's a savings account for your resilience, your toughness, your ability to come back when you get knocked down. And, even if it wasn't a hip, like arthritis and hips, right? What if I was in a car accident or something, God forbid, your ability to come back from these major setbacks, or maybe I just blew my ACL skiing or something like that. These are things that are out there in front of all of us. Like, I've heard stories of people tearing their Achilles playing with their kids, but they're also in really good shape. So they come back from that really, really quickly. And so, but if you're not, that's where injuries can really, really be scary. So you're right. Get into Industrious, get there, get here, get anywhere, but move your body.
And put it under load.
And put it under load. Get strong. Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt that these things are correlated to fast recovery and resilience.
Now, totally. So we had you on a pretty good healing and recovery stack going into surgery. We took a little break just around surgery, so there'd be, you'd be kind of fresh and ready for that. So now I think we're ready to get you started back on your healing stack.
I'm excited to get going on regenerative therapies that are designed to heal faster, and at the same time, hopefully also prepare for the next hip replacement surgery that's coming up.
Totally.
And because any type of advantage I can give my body to heal and recover, as well as my mind to heal, recover, be sharp, be ready, not getting beaten down by pain throughout the day. I'm going for it.
Yeah, and I think you're ready for a little bit more of an advanced stack now. So I already know what I'm going to put together for you. We're gonna start obviously with something based like a BPC 157. That's a key thing. And if there's one peptide I'd put almost everybody on, it's BPC 157. It's a phenomenal healing compound. You can run it daily. It's amazing.
Yep.
We'll combine that with one called TB 500. And we're going to put KPV in the mix for the inflammation and kind of wound recovery. So we're going to do a nice little combo there.
Yeah.
And then I think we have GH support for you. So we're going to do some GH support to help kind of speed up that overall healing recovery. And that might be something like a CJC or an ipamorelin. And then I think we want to look at your mitochondrial function. We want maybe an SS31, maybe a MOTC to kind of start intensifying and helping those mitochondria really ramp up production. Because when it comes to healing, when it comes to how we feel, so much of that is actually linked to our mitochondrial function. So we're going to go after all of that. And we might even introduce something like a CMAX, which is a nootropic kind of BDNF brain driver that helps drive neurogenesis and helps drive down like this inflammation in the brain and can give you a little bit more of that clarity, a little bit snappier thought process. So one of the things that's cool is when you realize, hey, oh, there are ways that I can, it's not even cheating. There's ways I can accelerate what my body's capable of using compounds that are very safe because they're just signaling messages and signaling molecules. So I think you're ready for the advanced stack.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to get going and speed up recovery and just be back to full force physically. And so it's really, really cool. And the other, I think, big question that when people are considering whether or not to do a surgery or not do a surgery, what ultimately kind of tipped me over the edge and said, let's go, let's do this. It's when, whatever condition you have, let's say it's a knee that's just arthritic or a hip or shoulder or whatever it is, once it starts to really get in your way of like being able to do the most basic fundamental things, like even playing with my kids, if like bending over to like grab the football, if Murphy, like had a bad pass or whatever, is like, ow, ow, ow. And, once it starts to get in your way that way, I'm a big advocate to just say, now it's time. It's absolutely time to go take care of business. And so that's what just sort of happened to me. I was like, I'm good. Don't really need to worry about it. Like, we got too much to do. Like, we got to grind, we got to go. But then as things just became worse and worse with the arthritis in my hips, that, it just started to get in the way of my ability to do things that I know bring me happiness, bring me joy. And so that was ultimately the decision, was like, let's go, let's do this.
I think that is the keystone piece that I would have everyone take away. One, if some of those nagging aches and pains are creeping up, don't ignore them, right? Get them addressed, look at them, take action. And then when it comes time to say deal with an issue or figure out what you want to do with an issue and it's preventing you from doing the things you love in life, then it's time, right? Then it's time. So take action, right? Make that move, because oftentimes on the other side, it's you just forgot how awesome it feels to be able to do some of the things that you love doing.
Right.
It feels so good. I can bend down and pick a wrapper up off the ground without excruciating pain.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, Steve, thanks for being here. Thanks, everybody. And if you have any questions on this, always, we're here to support you. Otherwise, we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.